Okay, so we looked before at the case of labor demand for a firm that faced perfect competition, both on the input side and on the output side. Now we're going to be looking at the case of labor demand for a firm that is not a price taker on the input market. So we're thinking of a single firm that is hiring somewhere, a monopsonist. Okay, so think of a company town. It's only the only factory in town that's hiring. And the key point here is that when hiring more, it is driving up wages. Okay, so it's similar to the monopoly in that the monopoly it's the only firm on the output market. By producing more, it's driving down prices. So there are some analogies here. So we're going to be looking at a specific case of that. Okay, so just to kick things off here, remember that when we looked at the perfectly competitive firm, we said, what does that want to do when it's hiring? Well, it wants to choose the amount of labor that it has in such a way that it maximizes profits. Okay, so what are profits? It's price times quantity, but we here want to be explicit that quantity depends on how much labor you have they're employing. So we're inserting the production function here. So how much quantity is being produced? Well, depends on amount of capital. We set that fixed here, K upper bar, and the amount of labor. More labor implies that you're producing more. You need to pay for the labor. You pay W, wage, times the amount of labor, minus rental rate of capital, times the amount of capital that you're using. So these are your profits. Okay, so that's where we were before. Now we make one little twist here. We say that the monopsonist is it's the only game in town. It's only from hiring, so that it will meet an upward sloping labor supply curve. So we'll let wage depend on L. Okay, and more generally, you could think of this being true in many situations beyond the pure monopsonist. Is that if you want to hire more people, you may have to pay a higher wage than what you're paying to workers today. Okay, so let's look at this in a specific example, and let's assume then that the profit maximization problem is again. So we maximize L. Let the revenue be given by 30L minus L squared. Nothing deep here. Just we need something something to work with. Let the labor, the wage, how wages depend on labor, be given by 2L. So essentially this being 2L and then times L. Okay, so that will be the cost of labor and then minus R and K upper bar, and that's going to be fixed. Okay, so let's maximize profits. Let's try to see where at what level of employment that this firm will maximize profits. So we're differentiating profits with respect to L here. So it gives us 30 minus 2L. So this is 2L squared. Differentiate that with respect to L. Gives us 4L. And then this is just a constant, so that drops out. Okay. So we could think of this as price times marginal product of labor, and this is the cost of labor. Okay. So let's draw this. This. We're going to be solving here. So we have wage on the vertical axis, and we have the amount of labor on the horizontal axis. We have like this. We have, so that being price times marginal product of labor. So price times MPL, which in this case is 30 minus 2L, right? We have the labor supply here. So let's maybe shift colors, do that in green. So we have labor supply like that. So that being 2L. Okay, so this firm, if it, it is a monopsonist, but say that it didn't act as one, say that it just acted as a price taker, it would be employing this many people. How many is that? Well, that would be 30 minus 2L, which is how much it gains by employing another worker, and setting that equal to 2L, which is the supply of labor. Okay, so that gives us 30 equals to 4L, or reshuffling here, L equals 7.5. And the wage equals what? Well, 2 times L, so 2 times 7.5 equals 15. Okay, so we can take that as a benchmark. Now assume instead that, we call this as monopsonist. So the whole idea is that where the firm is hiring more, it has to pay more, right? So there's, in some sense, two costs here. When you're hiring more, you need to pay more, but you're also paying more on all your hirings. Okay, so there's an analogy to the monopoly there, where it lowers the price on all its units to sell more. So let's look at that. The marginal cost, in some sense, of hiring would be 4L. So something like this, right? And so we're solving the optimal or the profit maximizing amount of labor for the monopsonist will give us then 30 equals to 6L, or L equals 5. So we'll hire fewer workers or fewer hours, 5 here. And what's the wage then? Well, that's 2 times 5. We're using the labor supply curve here, which gives us 10. Okay, so the monopsonist, it hires fewer workers and pays less than what it would do if it were acting as a price taker on the input market. That's the way through which it maximizes profits. And one reason why this is particularly interesting is that it has been forwarded as a way to understand why we have limited effects of, or limited or no negative effects of modest increases in the minimum wage. Okay, that's not to say that any increase in minimum wage will not have a negative effect on employment. But what we see here in a case like this is that minor increases in the minimum wage would actually be associated with both a higher wage and a increased employment. Okay,